What does he mean by that? Because the heritage is like that the guy was racist, right? And she's a black woman.
And that's
he thinks it's some kind of deliberate message, which I would have no problem with.
Well, that's the thing is,
if anything, it's a good message, unless we disagree about slavery.
Yes,
he wants slaves back.
Yeah.
but that's the interesting thing is they're the ones who brought it there. Like we looked at all of the videos and all like what Lizzo had to say about it, and it was just this wholesome thing promoting history. Like
she didn't bring up race at all.
At all.
Yeah.
And it's like they're telling on themselves a little bit because they realize it's like the implication is like, oh, this is a black woman who 200 years ago would have been owned by this man, and here she is playing his instrument, his beloved crystal flute or whatever. And
wow,
yeah, and in my opinion, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, but they didn't. But that wasn't the
yeah.
message. Nobody said that, but you. Like you brought it there.
It is a cool point, right? Because we don't agree with slavery.
Right.
I question where Matt Walsh's beliefs are on.
Yes, exactly.
The heritage? What did you mean by heritage, Matt? Unpack that.
Yeah.
Lizzo is morbidly obese. Very interesting point. That's interesting. Fat man bad. Fat lady bad. Lizzo is morbidly obese weirdo in a thong, twerking around on stage while playing with a priceless piece of American history. It's a flute, you fucking idiot. Sitting in a dark desk. You didn't know this thing existed. That's the level of care we're talking about. Also, I don't give a flying shit if it's an honor for her. That's not the point. Yeah, got it. This person tried to tell him she's a classically trained flutist. He's like, I don't give a fuck. It's about the heritage. He continues, the intention of our cultural elites is always to insult and humiliate. That's the first thing you must realize.
Okay.
Imagine how it feels to be owned by another person.
Crazy, perhaps.
Dude, these people are nuts. And then he continues on. They are outright admitting that this was done as a purposeful act of degradation, racial retributions against one of our founding fathers. And yet I still see some conservatives on here being like, lighten up, everyone. I think it was kind of cool.
See, this is what I was getting at. It's like they weren't getting the juice that they wanted out of this, because even a lot of conservatives were like, what, the flute? Like, what's the flute? Like, what are we even talking about? Like,
what, the flute?
What, the flute?